Hi, we're Dan and Beth, and this is our first sketch. For our first idea, we wanted to show a little girl. We want it like set in an abandoned house, really, quite a derelict place. There'll be toys which have been worn with use, and we want to show flashbacks of when she was a baby, because the story is that she died in a house fire. So we want to show like happy footage and then flick back to like the real life of maybe the present after the fire's happened, and she'll be sat there. So we've got to choose quite carefully with what's going on.
This is just a mind map of our initial ideas for the idea that we have. One of the props that we wanted to use for this idea was an old dirty teddy bear with its head or limbs almost torn apart for the amount of times that it's been used by the little girl.
This is like the sound of a Jack in the Box, which we might use as non-diegetic sounds in them.
Basically, it's like the Jack in the Box, like little chime to kind of like make it sound a bit more freaky. Although it's like an innocent child's toy, we're going to kind of reverse it so it does sound a bit more scary. And another prop that we were going to use was like building blocks that a child would use, and these would also be our credits. So we would put our name through the blocks to make it all work.
This is like the setting we kind of thought to use for the first idea. It's a location, it's in Donington, and it's an abandoned barn. It looks quite old, possibly even burnt in a way, just because of how worn it is. So I thought it'd work quite well with the child and would be quite dramatic.
And they're doing like day-to-day things, just like generally being like in love, etc. But to contrast with this, we're going to show extreme close-ups of a really bloody knife, and like a warehouse corridor that's abandoned in the dark, and all across the warehouse there'd be like all these old photos and like newspaper articles of all these mysterious murders that happened.
These shots will merge in and out of each other until we hear a scream of a woman. This will jump cut to a man who's woken up from a bad dream, which is what the audience have just seen. So they've seen him sleeping, he's going to jump up kind of thing.
The man will get up and go to his bathroom, splash his face with some cold water to calm himself down. The only thing that he'll see in the reflection of the mirror is the woman that was in his dream, although the camera shot will be so that you can see that in reality she isn't actually there.
The props we would use for this will be, we've got a mirror, because they can be quite dramatic in thrillers, because you can use like reflections, and we can do like a fade shot and link two together if maybe something's seen in the reflection. We've got a bloody knife, which when put on screen, if it's at a large scale, it can be quite dramatic as well. Some newspaper articles, and then we've got some happy family photos to show like the dramatic change between how it was happy then and how it is now.
This is just one of the settings that we're going to use for the factory. It's the Warner's factory, which we've got permission to go into. So we'll be like putting all the newspapers just like all around the floor, just covering the place. And this is our other setting, which is a house in Rippingall, and we decided to set it like just in a normal family house, as other thrillers that we've watched have been set in normal day-to-day places, so that the audience can relate to it.
Idea 3 begins with a low shot of a man's leg walking along the street. He'll be dressed in a suit with smart shoes, carrying a briefcase. Although this would be all we see really. He then pauses at a street corner where, almost in sync to him, a large black car screeches into a halt in front of him. Once getting in, still unaware of what the mysterious man looks like, we'll hear some narration from the mysterious man.
This narration will be like an insight for the audience as to what will be in the story and setting the scene. And still, we'll only see close-ups of his face, with his identity hidden. After the narration is over, the man will light a cigar, and the smoke blowing into the camera will be what begins the title sequence. This idea we took inspiration from films such as Rock and Roller and Lock, Stock and Two Smoking Barrels.
The props used for this, we'd obviously have a cigar. We've got a briefcase at the top, because they're just going to look really formal then. It's a briefcase. And then we've got a car down the bottom, which screeched to a halt in front of him.
That's a nice car.
The setting will be in Stamford. We chose this place because it's aesthetically pleasing, and also it's quite a large area that we can film in without being in the way of anyone. So, thank you for watching.